Do we like Mike Matei in the episodes? Do we not like Mike Matei in the episodes? It's funny because any one of the reasons I'm going to show you some of the reasons I picked this episode, and feel free to let me know if you can hear me and all that fun stuff. You might be able to see my little Trello board here. Let me try I have to organize some things. Hey, what's going on, Wesley? All right, all the favorites are here. So, let me. Okay. Sure. Well, so this is my feeling. I definitely think that Mike Matei and Kyle Justin are far better than anything during the Screenwave era of uh, either random guest or Kieran. I don't know that Kieran was in any of the episodes, or Justin, or just whatever they were pulling. Ironically, I actually think Justin's okay in some of the stuff that he's done, but excuse me. So I think it's better. But even one of the reasons I'm picking Batman today, and you see here, you see my list. I've been doing a lot of planning. That's one of the reasons why the episode previous to this one took a while, because there was a lot of planning and strategy for like how I'm going to get a lot of these out. And I've been yes, apples. It's not. Some people think I'm doing like 100% apple cider vinegar, but it's diluted water. Um, but so you can see I have episodes that are in this pile called Rank Me. And really, all of these episodes they're things they're episodes that I know are not like F tier or D tier or whatnot that have kind of been like delaying to slot into like a B or an A or wherever they're going to end up going. So what I do want to watch some of these again. Um, Um, the F tier stuff, these are candidates. These won't necessarily be an F or D. I just had a bunch that I hadn't seen in a long time, and that I knew they weren't like A's for me. And I knew I didn't really like them the first time I watched them, so I wanted to go back and make sure that there wasn't anything that really belonged in F tier that I didn't. And actually, when I watched like 9 episodes that I put as F tier candidates. I probably should stop moving my face away from the mic. I put a lot of episodes that I had as F tier candidates, but a lot of them, ended up in like C tier. But one ended up in B tier actually, and one ended up right in F. So you can see I have some episodes coming up. So you now know what's coming up, and I think really these final four are the final four F tier episodes. Um, Green Dog is almost out the door, and I have a little. So you can see I have a little like if you could read it. There's like W means it's been written. P means there's a project file for it in Premiere. VO means I have the voiceover. So Green Dog is far along, and I could probably release that within the coming days if I choose to. The Bad Final Fight games is one I watched a few days ago, and it was going to be like a D tier, but then I had a lot to say about it, and then the way it ended pushed it over the edge for me with F tier. So in terms of these so I figured, all right, these F tier candidates I'm gonna watch on my own because I like to edit and write at the same time. And sorry for all this explanation. It's probably unnecessary, but I figured if this is interesting to you. But these F tier candidates, I'm gonna probably over the weekend watch these and write as I watch them. That's when I've been the most efficient. But these rank me ones, I figured those are some episodes I could watch with you guys during the Cinemassacre Saturdays. Because I know that most of these are gonna end up like at the worst C tier probably, and so they're not gonna come for a little while, and I don't need to like write. Um, but Batman Part One, Part Two struck me as the next one I wanted to watch because I don't remember them being my favorite in terms of classic nerd episodes. For if I were just ranking if I just took the top 100 episodes that James had ever done, the Batman ones for me, I don't know, they might have been like 80 to 60th maybe. It's hard for me to tell, but it's been a while. And I think when I watched it, it's possible I didn't even know who Mike Matei was. It's possible I never watched it in full, even knowing who that was behind the mask. So I had a feeling I didn't love it back then, but I'm a huge Mike fan. So I get a feeling I might like it more knowing who it is. And knowing that the guy behind the Elmo video is the same guy. So now that I rambled on, I don't think I've seen this episode in a long time. Maybe not for like. Well, I must have known about Mike Matei because I was doing this ranking like 7 years ago, and I probably watched it and then put it on hold. So that's probably the last time I watched it. And but let's switch over. And it's always nice when we start with the game trailer sound and not an ExpressVPN ad. So let's do it. And again, as usual, if something's up with the sound, let me know. I'll adjust it to your liking. He's gonna take you back to the past. Okay, yes. You know what? I do want to respond to that. This is my belief about how AVGN panned out and what Mike's role is. I think, and I'm basing it off of things they said and then kind of piecing together. I think Mike and James and Bootsy, maybe I forget who, like they would hang out, like a lot of us did in college. Like what I did with my friends, we would hang out and we'd have a shared sense of humor. And I remember for me with my friends, like the things that would make them laugh and like where I would sort of push the boundaries. And so I think Mike clearly had a certain sense of humor. And I think James was tapping into that sense of humor, and he could go there. And then to make his friends laugh, he was going into that sort of angry rant. They were probably all doing it. And then James decides, okay, I'm going to go home. I'm going to make this video. And so I don't think it was so much that it was Mike writing it. It was that James was kind of writing for his audience. And his audience was Mike and his friends. And so he makes the Castlevania video, sends that to Mike. Mike loves it because it's like right up his alley, right? Because it's practically made for him. And he encourages that. And I'm sure along the way they both fed each other, but good to see you all. But I think they probably fed each other, but I think it wasn't so much that Mike wrote for James. It was more like James was adjusting his humor for his audience, who was his friend Mike. That's what I think happened. Was Mike involved? Yes. Does it change as like James becomes more of an older family man and Mike fades out of the picture? Yeah, I think that's probably it. I think his humor sensibilities changed, and I know that my humor is not as out there as it used to be when I was, in college, hanging out with my friends and, whatever. Yep, yep. Yeah, I mean, I definitely think Mike had a role, but I don't think it was like this whole thing was Mike. Mike was really the ghost writer for what would be AVGN. I think James deserves a ton of credit, and I no part of me takes away from my standpoint any of the any credit from him and what he did. Like I think Larry David had more of a role in Seinfeld than Mike did in AVGN. That's just a guess, but that's my belief. To play the shitty games that suck ass, he'd rather have a buffalo. Another hot take. I'm not that big of a fan of the Atari porn episode. Like it's a classic. It just it's just, yeah, I get it. Okay, I already knew about those types of games. Just I don't know. Something about pixelated jizz doesn't do it for me. I really liked him as Bugs Bunny though. I think his characterization as Bugs Bunny was just like it was just so it's like he just added a little edge to Bugs that I think worked. A rotten asshole, I'm a roadkill skunk, and down it with beer. He's the angriest gamer you've ever heard. He's the angry Nintendo nerd. He's the angry Atari Sega nerd. He's the angry video game nerd. Of course, we got Mike's title card, and those are always cool.
Alright, let's dig into a big pile of bat shit. As you can see, I'm all ready. Because in order to play bad Batman games and do them justice, you gotta be Batman.
Let's start with Batman the Caped Crusader for the Commodore 64. This game came out a year before the Tim Burton movie, which makes it the only game on our list that's not movie licensed. You get a choice to fight against the Penguin or the Joker, but both games seem to be identical. I never really got far enough to find out. Every time you exit a screen, another panel pops up. I guess they were trying to make it look like a comic book, but it's just awkward. The first enemies you encounter are what I think are toy airplanes and gargoyles, or bats, which take shits on you. Yeah, if you look close enough, you can see the little shit bombs dropping out of their asses. The control...
How many games is he gonna find where a flying thing drops shit on you? I'm surprised he didn't go, oh, bats. Oh, more bats in the video
control
game.
Is weird. As you can see, the instruction manual explains.
Did Batman ever actually fight bats in anything other than his origin story?
To do different punches and kicks, you have to hold the joystick in a certain direction while hitting the button. It's also ridiculous trying to hit anybody. You have to be like a step away, and no matter how many times you hit somebody, they don't die.
It's a cool attempt for the visual aesthetic of the game.
What the hell? There's also this annoying menu screen that keeps popping up. It took me a while to figure out that I activate this thing by pressing down in the button. So I get to this menu by total accident, and I don't know what to do here. What is all this shit? Restart game? Who the fuck's talking about restarting? Oh, the keypad's busted. Oh, that's great. Yeah, that's another thing about the Commodore. It only works when it feels like it.
Well, anyway, the game sucks. Gotta give it the Batman punishment. Batman.
Yeah, I've never seen that game in a long time. So look at that. There wasn't that much to say about the game. He got in, he got out. Move on.
Next is the one which most people know, Batman.
Now I remember that being a good game. What happened to my video? Where did my video go? My video disappeared. Hold on.
Batman.
Next is the one which most people know, Batman on the NES.
Yeah, so that's I remember that being really good.
Yes. Overall, when it comes to games, The Dark Knight's been treated a lot better than Superman.
Absolutely.
Because there do exist good Batman games,
yeah.
And this is one of them. The graphics are dark and stylish, just like the movie it represents, and the music is kick-ass.
It'd be fun to go back and play this. I think I really only played it as a rental, but it was always a good time.
The gameplay is addicting. You have a punch and a variety of bat weapons. You have a Ninja Gaiden style wall jump, which is something you really got to get used to because as the game progresses, it gets trickier and trickier. There's this one part which I swear you have no choice but to get hit by these spinning gears. Getting up to the Joker takes a lot of patience, and if you actually beat him, you deserve a medal. A good game for the NES library, but a hard son of a bitch. Next up, Batman Returns on Super Nintendo. With the release of the movie sequel,
It's like why this isn't like A tier for me. It's not that funny. It's not bad. It's a review.
many more games came along to cash in on the franchise. This one's a lot simpler, just a good old arcade
You thought it was cringe?
style beat 'em up. It's mind-numbing and redundant, but satisfying as hell. You just beat the shit out of them. There are many versions of Batman Returns, and here's one on Sega CD. It showed off some impressive graphics for the time, like the cinematic shot of Batman
Yeah, we'll get to part 2 for sure.
behind the wheel and the 3D driving stages. To tell you the truth,
I wonder, should I rate, if I'm gonna rate these as 1 or 2 episodes? I think it really depends on how the episodes go, like if how distinct they are. Like TMNT 3, the VHS, I'm gonna rate that as 1 episode.
I never made it past these driving stages. It just goes on and on. Boring as shit. Next game.
I'm Batman.
Next up, Batman Returns for the Atari Lynx. A lot of these early handheld
I wish I had a good opinion for like who's the best Batman, because I'm just not a huge enough Batman fan to really have the right to have much of an opinion. It really depends a lot on what you're going for. Like, the Batman Classics was obviously a completely different beast. So, Adam West Batman is not going to be nearly the same as oh, what's his name? The one who was in the Nolan films. You guys will remind me of his name and I'll feel like an idiot. But that's going to be a very different Batman, and obviously very different from the Clooney Batman.
consoles had the same problem. You can barely see the screen. You gotta tilt it at the right angle. So this isn't gonna be easy to play. Anyway, you're just going around punching people. It's pretty self-explanatory. But god damn is it hard. I keep getting hit by dynamite and I can
Yeah, I remember even as a kid being like, Jim Carrey should play the Riddler,
barely see where it's coming from. And there doesn't seem
and then he was.
to be any kind of jump attack. Damn.
Alright, well this one gets the official bat stamp of shit. On to the next game, but first, gotta tell it I'm Batman. I'm Batman.
The Adventures of Batman and Robin on Super Nintendo.
I had this on Genesis, if I recall, and I remember really liking it.
Yeah, of course they had to make a Batman game based off of every Batman movie that came out, but they also had to do one based off the animated series.
Right, Christian Bale, thank you.
It's kind of like a cross between a beat 'em up and a 2D side scroller. Just
I love the art. Oh, is that? Oh my goodness, that art style for like 16-bit game, that is so good. That is so awesome. I love it. And that's why I really wanted this game when I got it for Genesis for whatever reason.
keep moving right and bashing everybody in your way. But then there comes times when you need a little bit of
that, like, it almost looks like the cartoon.
problem solving to figure out what to do. Sometimes it gets
Yeah, that's what we got it. There were a lot of really good Jokers. There were a lot of really good Jokers. I want to watch the Joker movies, but Joaquin Phoenix seems really good and quite right for the role. Um, Obviously, what's his name? No, Heath Ledger's Joker was obviously really great. And obviously the Romero one, the the Jack Nicholson, they all brought a different flavor, but they were all really good. Like the Joker definitely seems like a fun type of character to play. Yeah. So I think there were a lot of good and different and interesting, and obviously Mark Hamill. So, but it was all very different. One is more like some of them, and it also the writing demands it. Some of it play it more like a like you're psychoanalyzing the character in a sense of like, and then others are more like comic and cartoonish, and Mark is more comic book, right? The Romero one is more comic book, and whereas the Heath Ledger one is more of a more like you're going into, there's a more precise word for this that I'm losing, but it's more of a kind of a psychological thriller. You're doing a character study almost on them, and you're going a little deeper.
Kinda annoying, like this part.
And of course, lest we forget the Mike Matei Joker, which we're all going to see, who is far and away the best Joker. He should show up in way more lists.
How the hell was I supposed to know I can't jump on the roller coaster? But in conclusion, this is one you might want to try out.
Yeah.
Not a bad game, let it pass.
I mean, this episode is. It's like you work with the material you have. So like if you're Mystery Science Theater, for instance, and you've got The Room as material, it's gonna be a funnier episode. But if you have something that's kind of meh, that's harder to make it great. And honestly, all of these games, like if we say the big three superheroes are Superman, Batman, and Spider-Man, it was Superman that got the shortest end of the stick. Like those games just always sucked. And then the middle of that was Spider-Man, who had some shitty games, but they got pretty darn good, and some of the best. And Batman was always really good for a while. So I don't know how this happened, and someone's probably done research on this, but like 8-bit and 16-bit era, like Batman were putting out good games. It was like one of the better licensed products, was just for whatever, Batman was getting the good games. So so he probably wanted to do a Batman episode, but he's not really working with material that's like, oh, this is shit.
Next up, Batman Forever for the Super.
Oh, there was a Jared Leto Joker, wasn't there? That's right.
Nintendo. Now we're in deep shit because this game.
But I never watched that one. But it would seem to me that if that's your worst Joker, that's not so bad.
Is Triceratops testicles. Since the side-scrolling, driving, and beat-em-up thing had already been done to death, my guess is that they were attempting something a little different with this game. As soon as it begins, you'll notice.
Was Jared Leto that bad?
It bears an uncanny resemblance to Mortal Kombat. It's literally the same control scheme with all the same moves. Being that it was also made by Acclaim, it makes you wonder why they would repackage a fighting game into a Batman game. I almost expect to see Batman rip someone's spinal cord out. This kind of...
Yeah, so one of the things I liked about AVGN back then, whether he knew what he was doing or not, was there is a little bit of game design analysis, and that's a little bit of that in here, where you start to realize like something that works in a 1v1 fighter does not work in a side-scrolling beat 'em up, and here's why it doesn't work, right?
Fighting style just doesn't work for a platforming side-scroller like this. It just slows things down. Whenever you knock somebody to the ground, you gotta wait for them to get back up again. You hit them again, and it just goes on and on and on. It's also real annoying that up is jump, whereas there's plenty of buttons to choose from. But that...
Oh, so yeah, it did just lift from Mortal Kombat controls.
It's only the beginning to how atrociously ass this fuckfest is. Within the first minute or two, you come to a wall, which is pretty much a dead
And if I remember, this is when this kind of picks up for me.
end. You can't do jack shit. So you figure, okay, I probably got to go up there. So you try jumping all around, but it's useless. You try every possible combination of buttons till you find that select shoots this wire out of your crotch. That's real random, right? The select button? But this wire or grappling hook, whatever, it doesn't latch on to anything. Almost as if it's just for show. At first I thought that you just need to stand in the right spot, but no matter where I go, nothing happens. Fuck shit! Get up there! This is fucking bullshit! You think to shoot up, you just press up, but no, it jumps! Sometimes I get it to work by pure luck until I found out that, okay, this is how it works.
Here we go. Here we go. This is it. We're getting, this is like the good stuff, right? This, you know what this is? This is like when you get a nicer slice of pizza, right? And you get the cheese, you get the pepperoni, you get all the toppings right up. Ooh, you get that in one bite. You maybe a little piece of garlic, a little bit of Romano cheese on there. You really get all the flavor. That's what this is. There we're getting it. We're getting just pure, young, frustrated, it just eats at me. Angry video game nerd. This is the good stuff. This is the delicious stuff you want, right here. That's and it's not like over the top anger, like where it's like I'm just gonna throw a bunch of curses at you and just believe me, I'm angry. It's like it's just the right touch of, oh, this is pissing me off, right? Oh, that is it. That's right. That is, you don't get that now. You're never gonna get that again, I don't think. But that was, yeah.
Up, you press select and up in a very specific way.
Oh.
You have to press
Well.
select slightly
Right.
before you press
Oh, and he's got the accent.
jump. If you do it correctly, it shoots the grappling hook straight up in the air. But if you press them both at the same time, you just jump. That's a good reason why the jump button should not be up. Why can't it be one of the fucking buttons? Having the fucking up button jump is fucking fucked up. If
A little much, but I'm still
this
good with
aimed
it.
your grappling hook and this jumped, then it would be fine. But no, they gotta be the same button.
Oh, this is poetry.
And on top of that, you have to be standing in the correct spot. And this spot is very precise. You think all that mattered is if you were under the hole. But no,
Right.
it's like exact.
Right.
This one magic
Right.
pixel of a spot. You gotta be right on the mark. So you just
You see, when he's so good when he takes the moment that's bad and he picks on the thing that's bad, and then just like all the cascading things that makes one thing bad even worse and worse and worse and worse. The controls are bad enough. It's bad enough I have to press jump up to jump. It's bad enough that the select button is this esoteric button that you're never really supposed to use in convention. Now we're going to combine these things, and I have to do them both, and I have to time it right, and I have to be in the right spot. And you pick that moment, and you pick on that moment. You keep drilling at that moment, and you don't just move off of it. So you set it up, you layer it on, and then boom, you go in for the kill. That's just good writing. It's just good writing. And I think it was probably very instinctual, but and then when you have all that, then you could perform it better because it's all real. Right? You could, it's not a fake frustration. Like when he does Blaster Master and tells you it's shit while also telling you it's the fucking greatest thing he's played. It fucks hard. But the controls are ass. It doesn't,
lumber all around trying to figure out where to go. And whenever you access a new part of the game, it says, hold on. Hold on for what? It has to fucking load? It's also interesting to note that you have the option of playing as Robin. But who would do that? I want to be Batman. I guess the goal is to rescue all the security guards. When you untie them, they do this melodramatic sort of pose, like, yay, I'm free! The villains are all stock. It's just
What system was this again?
guys in flashy suits and guys with chainsaws. Oh, look at that! Chainsaw to the dick! Why does it take so long to kill people?
Opie and Anthony. And on Cinemassacre Saturday, but I can't subject anyone to that. This is, I mean, like, it's visually impressive for SNES, but now I get why you complained about the hold on and you have to load. Opie and Anthony, man, you would think that he would have tried to bring something to the table there. That was so dreadful. That was so bad. He does a little Al Bundy in there for all the kiddies.
Everything's so dark you can never tell where there's a door. Then you walk back and look for one of those spots where you can use your grappling dick. See, right there, that
Yeah, no, they were fans. They tried fangirling on him. They still was like, yeah, 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 nothing. It's so, I don't know what it is, but like he has a great story to tell, and he's attempted to tell it, but he's never really done it in. I don't. Yeah, I mean, look, I mean, it's been said before. It's like he really does work a lot better when he scripts his stuff. Maybe look, maybe he. You know what? Like I don't get like this, but other people do. And maybe he was a little starstruck because for the first time he's like now he's appearing on something that's somewhat mainstream, and he was bimmed out by him. Yeah.
Was just a lucky guess. Another problem is the fucking foreground keeps blocking me.
Yeah. They tried. Like they tried. They tried. They did what good comedians do. They tried to set him up, and James just like he didn't even swing and miss. He was just standing at the plate, and the ball came, and he didn't even look back. It was just like, yeah, It was just like, we're gonna throw these slow pitch fastball. We're gonna throw these slow pitch, slow balls at you for you to knock out the park, and it's just like, yeah, uh huh. And I'd watch it, but it's not even worth it. It's so bad. It's not even funny
It's like,
bad.
get that shit out of the way. I can't see what I'm doing. Rather have a
And then he gives you this.
diarrhea dog take a lava dump all over the screen. And just when you thought you had the controls all figured out, you come to this part where you need to jump down. You'd expect to be able to just simply push down, maybe in combination with the jump button. But oh, that's right. There is no fucking jump button. It's
Yeah. James is like, listen, I'm gonna save this energy for Sly and Spielberg. I need it for you. I know how George Lucas felt when he completed his trilogy.
up. That would be pretty impressive, to be able to press down and up at the same time. Well, anyway, you try every combination imaginable, and guess what? It's down and R. Yeah, R. That's not even one of the main buttons. Why R? And again, the R button has to be tapped slightly before you press down. And sometimes there isn't even a hole to tell you where you're able to do that. Why is everything so cryptic?
Yeah, so this
This is fucked beyond belief.
This
It's
game
like
was
the
this game was the meat and potatoes of this
controls
episode.
in this game are like something you do for a cheat code, not a
Right.
basic move that you have to do in order to play the game. Why did they program it in such an asinine, ball-brained, cockamamie, ridiculous fashion? It's like, geez, there's 4 buttons right in the front of the controller. Look, that's not enough to work with. Instead, they have to, like, program it, all into, weird kind of crazy button combinations and shit. It's like, what were they thinking? It's like, up is jump, select for the grappling hook. Select shouldn't even be part of the game. Select should be, like, for the menus or something. I mean, geez, like, were they trying to just ruin this game?
I still see people defending the new shit as if it's like I don't like. It's one thing if you're like, look, whatever, it's content and I enjoy it for what it is, but like you cannot compare that to this. And this was not one of my favorites. But like every time I watch like those first 100 or so and I say, well, this one wasn't my favorite, this one wasn't my favorite, but it's still like standards of deviation like so much different from what we have now. And I mean, all right. I didn't want to do this. I wasn't going to do this. I didn't want to do this. I didn't want to do this, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it because this is just going to get hidden in a little stream. I don't think many people are going to see it. I don't want to embarrass the kid. I really don't. Not that like my channel isn't big enough that I'm punching down or anything. But whoever did that other ranking video of 212 episodes and just like however they chose it and just it was like throwing stuff at a wall. Yeah. I think if you really pay attention or let me punch up a little bit, the Dan Olsons of the world who the Dan Olsons of the world who well, look, that's up to you. If you want to hang, you can hang. If you don't want to hang, you don't. It's first off, I can't just play an episode through from beginning to end because it's just the rules on YouTube. So if that's what you want to do, you can do that. But it's just not something that I really can do. I'm more here to hang with you guys, and then we have something we could chat about. So it's just how I have to do things, both because, again, for this to even be quote unquote transformative work, I can't just like play an episode through. And then two, it's more to chat with you guys. That is the main reason I do this. So that's what I'm gonna do, and then we have something to kind of watch and talk about. So just kind of the way I'm gonna do it. So I appreciate the feedback, but um, you know, that's how I'm gonna have to roll. Um, but yeah, so like for the Dan Olsons of the world, and obviously yep. Obviously I'm not the first and only person to say this, but like to go up there and tell people nothing's changed, you changed. I mean, come on. Like, get out of here. Just watching this.
Flat out just fuck it up? Well, they did. Batman Forever, it sucked back then, and it sucks forever. Batman. That's it. That's all the shitty Batman games I can take. Review's over.
Batman! Batman, you wanna play a really shitty Nintendo game, Batman? What, how that Return of the Joker on the Nintendo Entertainment System,
Yeah,
Batman?
I'm not really Batman, though.
You're not Batman! Batman, you're Batman! I'm Batman! Come on, Batman, let's play! Come on!
I'm not playing any more shitty Batman games.
Yes, you are! Oh, Batman, let me give you a hand!
Will the Bat Nerd escape the Joker? What bad games does he have up his sleeve? Tune in next episode, same bat time, same bat channel.
I'm sure that you couldn't have picked another character that Mike wanted to play more than this. I think I remember him being a big fan of the Batman classics, and he's playing a lunatic. Like, it's like Mike's dream. Best Joker ever. All right, let's grab the other episode. Mitchell, yeah. I forgot about this animation. Oh, this was so cool for its time to do this. Oh. Oh, that was so cool. Like, it's great. That's awesome now, but for its time, that's awesome. I forgot about that. That was so cool. I don't think it was Mike singing, but maybe, I don't know. That was funny too.
Okay, so I guess because the Joker's in the title, I'm playing Batman Return of the Joker on NES. It's a follow-up to the first Batman game on NES. They couldn't wait for the next movie to come out, so they had to make an instant sequel. Unlike the first game where you have the option to punch or switch between an inventory of weapons, this game basically gives you one weapon,
Big
a
Ryan,
bat
right?
gun. You can get a lot of upgrades to this weapon, but I can't help but find it strange that Batman is just going around shooting people with infinite ammo and never using his fists. For an NES game, the graphics are good, and the music, once again, is awesome. Seems like Sunsoft games always have good music. Blaster Master, Fester's Quest. Yeah, I said that. You can
Boy. Blaster Master reference. He was wise enough to not cover the game back then.
even make Batman dance to the music, because when you press up, he turns his head.
Oh, the Bat Dance!
I don't know what purpose that has. But when you get to the boss, the music sounds incredibly familiar. Mega Man 2? Yeah, it does sound like it. Just a lot faster, that's all. Once you get to the third stage, the game gets way too difficult, way too fast. You're slipping around on the ice trying not to fall, and all these tornadoes keep flying at you. Even after a lot of trial and error, it's still next to impossible not to get hit by these things. Come on, you fucking tornado piece of shit. I know you're there. Just inching forward. I know you're there. Fuck! There's also the traditional annoying backwards fall bullshit. Whenever you get hit, you fly back, right? You're familiar with that. But here, even if you're facing in the other direction, you get sucked back into the hole. What in
Did you break character?
the holy mother of fuck is that about? That doesn't even follow the laws.
Obviously, I'm guessing it's the combination of the knockback and being on the ice, but I wonder, can you...
Physics!
Oh, that sucks.
Then there's the falling ceiling gag, you know, for you to get by, they have to fall. There's no other option. If you stand under it, it kills you. To get it down, you stand under it. What a paradox. Look at this pandemonium. There's a fucking ceiling waiting to come down and kill me. There's a guy throwing an oil drum. If I try to get out of the way, I get hit by these rotating blades and shit. I take the guy down, and then I try to set off the ceiling trap, and I'm dead.
One of the things, too, about just the reasons that they were bad back then. Which is back then, people were still figuring out, like, conventions and rules for game design, and then the ones who really understood it just understood it. And I feel like with, you know, some of the stuff that you see in those classic games, are designers not working with conventions of good game design. So there's all those types of problems. Whereas if you deal with... My audio's cutting out? I'll try. Alright, well, hopefully it's back on now. But when you, my micro mic went out. But when you, I feel like a lot of the modern games, the problems are going to be more like, there's clipping and, you know, the camera's wonky and, you know, things of that nature. So there are probably more amusing problems to pick on, and these like really bad game design decisions. One of them when you didn't have like the textbook game design.
So I tried again, and this time I just carefully stepped to the edge, just taking baby steps, you know. God, this game's fucking brutal. It doesn't even make any sense. Come on, you piece of shit. Fuck! Okay, so I'm trying to jump onto a moving platform while somebody's shooting at me. How the hell does that work? Oh, shit. Whoa, I got lucky there.
Like, I certainly watched a lot of AVGN and learned what not to do as a designer.
So I'm just going to try to shoot him from across the
Gotcha.
hole, but as you can see, I can't. I just got to get on there. Ass! One more try. I just can't get hit. Come on, you motherfucker! Ah! Thank God. And how do you like this? You can actually get blocked by a power-up. but he can still shoot through. That's not fair.
Oh, it's so unfair.
It's like they deliberately programmed this thing to be a means of torture. There's also a slide move, but I never found a safe time to use it, so half the time I forgot I had it. The only thing easy about this game are the bosses, except for the Joker. He's impossible.
I'm starting
So overall, it's really
to feel like, so I knew you could only do like 10 minutes back in the day. But I'm starting to feel like this all could have been one episode and you cut it down, but then that might have been tough. Because it's like, I feel like he did have more than 10 minutes, but he had less than 20.
not the worst Batman game. It's not really that bad of a game in general. It just has some things about that.
It's not that bad.
Oh, would you like to play a bad game?
I mean, look, when I complain about modern AVGN, I'm complaining about this. So it's like, all right, it's not that bad. You don't really need to get that into the details. There's not, but I don't know. I mean, back then for me, it was just interesting to watch and learn more about these games. Back when there wasn't such a flood of retro gaming YouTubers all over the place, and that's another thing that, you know, he has to contend with now. It's just such a saturated market.
Man, how about the Game Boy version? Return of the Joker! Have fun, motherfucker!
Okay, Return of the Joker on Game Boy. The game begins, and what does it sound like? I don't know why I'm making all these observations. I guess I just have Mega Man on the mind. So, anyway, it's completely different from the NES version. Your main attack is punching, but you can also collect other weapons. And the wall jump is back too, so it's actually more like the first NES game. But there's also a grappling hook, which is really annoying because you can never get it to work when you need it to work.
It's like Jungle Hunt. Did you ever play Jungle Hunt?
And other times, it just has a mind of its own. The control is overly complicated. It seems...
Yeah, I was looking at it, and for like from like seasons 2 to like 4, he'd done like 75 episodes. So yeah, it was crazy.
They should have just had the wall jump or the grappling hook, not both.
But a lot of great ones. So it wasn't like the quality necessarily dipped because of
Here
it.
there's deadly sewer water rising up. I'm desperately trying to make my way to the platforms, but instead I keep bouncing around the place. Alright, so I'm just trying to get the power up that's up there. Trying to do the wall jump and the fucking grappling hook's going off. Ah, I missed again. Alright, here we go. Just want to get... There we go. Okay, see, so I got the power up. Now I just want to land...
Look, I mean, I'd say, like, I know how hard it is for me sometimes to just do a video about his video. So to do all of those episodes of, you know, getting the game footage, finding something to say about it, writing it, performing it, doing all that, like even full time, that sounds like, it sounds brutal. And then throw on all the other stuff he was doing and Monster Madness, like yeah, obviously I'm poking fun of the newer material, but like, let's be real, this guy has done more than enough in terms of giving good content. And so yeah, this period is just like, I'm like here nitpicking, but yeah, I mean, he was a machine. He was a machine at this time, and it was good.
on that thing.
And if we got one of these today, we'd all be very happy.
But it isn't even... And then the grappling hook goes off. I don't want to go that way. I want to go to the right. Alright, I made it. But now the wall jump, like, sends me back. It's like I didn't want to go back. I want to go to the right. The controls are like trying to get a horse to wipe its ass on an eagle. And I really hate...
But I also suspect as a consequence of that tough schedule, is he didn't say more than he needed to usually. He kept it tighter. I think that constraint was good for him.
That grappling hook. Okay, now jump. Fuck! Alright, here we go again. Fuck! I swear that these games were programmed by the Joker.
Well, I mean, you know, he had Kieran around him at one point. That should have inspired great content.
Oh,
It's not. Kieran seems like a nice fellow. Poor Kieran.
I can't believe...
He's got John now. He's got John. He's got Neighbor Nerd.
Believe this. Get up there!
John also seems fine, but like, you know.
Get up there! That's...
Like, I wonder if... Yeah. This has me thinking. Like if John was around when Bootsy was around and Kyle and Mike, and like they introduced John in like the Dream Phone episode or something. Yes, AI man. Like if they introduced him there, would we all be like big fans of his? And then like once he was gone, we'd all be like, "Where's John? Bring back Neighbor Nerd." Like I feel like he would have been. I think he might have been accepted if he was introduced in that time, because I don't think there's anything off-putting about him. Um, yeah, he just kind of got introduced at a really bad time where it's like, here's replacement Mike. Well, I don't think he's funny. I don't think John is funny, but I don't remember Bootsy being particularly funny. Maybe he was, but like I just think I just you don't have to be funny to come across the screen well, to have some charisma. And you know, like I don't think Justin has zero charisma. I just don't think he has a ton of it as an on-air personality. I think he's been okay in some skits, to be honest. Kieran had zero charisma on the screen. Um, Nobody gets introduced stage. But you know, like with like the way I remember Mike being introduced, he just showed up in the Crossfire episode. And then it worked, and then he kind of like got like baked in. The problem with Screenwave is for one thing, they all kind of just they all just kind of like showed up all at once, like one big party, just of slobs just like entered the room, and then they made like 4 shows with them or whatever it was, and then all of a sudden it was like it's Tony and Kieran and Justin and Ryan, and they are all just like, and Mike is kind of there, and it kind of feels off with him. Yes, no, Justin in Spawn, I thought he was the best part of it. I even thought he was the best part in that little section he did in Jurassic Park Trespasser. So I don't think he's a person of zero talent and a person of zero charisma. But you know, but he had a lot working against him. And but it all just sort of he just dumped all these people at once, and then he would do nerd episodes where he'd introduce like characters from other shows, and they'd be like, who the hell is this? What do I care? I don't care about this person. Why are you putting this person on? So it was just a lot of like stuff, and then all the people that we grown to like were gone. Yes, he did the Newman part, and he did it well. And there should have been more of that, and less of like Shit's Kitchen, and less of that game designer that just shows up randomly and changes. But don't even get me started on Jurassic Park Trespasser. Don't get me started. Jurassic Park Trespasser. That was like when I was watching that at I literally, because I put this in that episode. I did put it in the episode that I made. I was literally watching this thing at like 2 in the morning, and I'm like watching this and like, what am I watching? Is this really happening? That is by far my favorite video I made in this series, just because of that. Um, my hot take with the Rex Viper thing is I think Justin took it as a joke, knows it's a joke, had fun with it, and I actually don't mind it because at least I think he knew it was a joke. Um, those other people thought this was real. James thinks I love it. I love James Rolfe. I really do. I do. I'm a big fan, and I still have to make fun. He thought he was a rock star. He really did. He really thought he really thought that like that was a thing. And we were just watching this poor guy's midlife crisis in real time. But if you go to his Rex Viper channel, you could subscribe along with another 2,400 people. Um, but I think Justin knew the joke, and I think he was in on the joke, and James thought it was real, while Kieran was puffing him up. You guys were the best, man. Yeah, well, that was the thing. It's like you learn this early. Like if you're gonna start a business or a side hustle or something, like unless you're desperate and you don't just, here, I'm gonna hire my friend. Like there was never like, no one was like, hey, I take this seriously and I need the right people on it. I don't know. I don't know if it was trying to be a joke or if it was trying to be serious. I have no idea. That yeah, I mean, come on. Come on. And you know what? You know whose fault that is? You know whose fault that is? That's April's fault. April should have sat James down and said, James, don't, what you're doing right now, this needs to stop. Just don't do it, James. Like what's happening right now. I understand you like music. I understand you want to do different things. I understand you want to do different projects, but like Eye of the Tiger Electronics. Eye of the Tiger Electronics is not gonna be your next number one single. It's not. It's not happening, honey. Just look. I'll make another movie with you, but just please, just, just, just stop. Did Justin say it was his favorite band? Did he really? Because I remember Kieran kind of puffing him up a bit. Oh man, Justin just straight lied to his fucking teeth. Justin just straight lied. But it's cool. Hopefully, I like. Obviously, nobody, like nobody in Cinemassacre is watching this, but hopefully, anybody who, really cares about this fella doesn't think, if they saw this, think that I'm like really like ripping on the guy hard. It's all in good fun. Like we all have our quirks. I certainly had my quirks. My quirks just aren't broadcast to the entire internet, and he's a bit of a celebrity, so it is. But yeah. Oh, did he? Oh, Oh, he. Oh my God. Oh, oh, that's so bad. And you know what the problem? I'm sorry for those of you who want me to continue with this episode, but we got the Rex Viper thing going. The real. It's like if he had just accepted it for what it was, a silly parody, cool. But there was this point where it starts to feel like, is this a parody or are you like taking this seriously? And the point where it almost seems like he's taking it seriously. And there was no Simon Cowell there to tell him like, no, this can't be taken seriously. This is a goof. This is like a one video goof. It's like your Jekyll and Hyde trailer. You get it out there, it's fun, you did it, there's a video, you're done. You're done. Alright, you want to make an album? Okay, fine, but like it's a goof. And I thought he would have known that just by having people like Justin in there playing his little tambourine and intentionally looking like a goofball. But then he announced like a separate channel for this thing. And they must have they shit on him real hard, and then that reality. It's hard. I don't want someone to feel terribly embarrassed for something like that, but like at some point, all right. I don't know how I ended up there.
Dude,
But...
I can't play this game anymore. I can't even finish the first fucking level.
What are you playing? Return of the Joker? Didn't you just play Return of the Joker? Return of the Joker, Return of the Joker. Well, how about Revenge of the Joker for the Sega Genesis? Return of the Joker, Revenge of the Joker. Return, Revenge, Return.
That is a good song.
Okay, since it's not Return but Revenge of the Joker. To start off with, it looks promising enough. It's basically a 16-bit version of the NES game Return of the Joker. Why does it take so long to destroy the crates? All it is just a power-up. It should take one shot. It's like in Fester's Quest, all those fucking purple blobs you gotta shoot. Oh, so you have a kick? I got it. Alright, kick for the crates and firepower for everything else. What's with the gargoyle statues? You shoot them and get nothing. What's the point? And why does it hurt you to touch them? Batman can't even touch a fucking statue? Then you get these live gargoyle statues, ones that attack. Oh, die. Shoot him in the head and nothing happens. Shoot him down in the midsection, nothing happens. Oh my...
Hey, well, this is an autism sausage party here, myself included.
My God. It's like, what am I supposed to do here? I just keep shooting them and nothing happens. Alright, so this doesn't...
Like, if you're a big AVGN fan, there's probably a little touch of Spectrum on you, right? There's a little bit there.
I'm trying to slide into him, nothing happens. Oh my God, I'm fucking dead. Alright, this time I'm gonna try jumping over. That doesn't work either! I try hitting him in every spot that I can. Okay, so you can kill him? I just don't know how to do it. But, oh, you motherfucker! Damn! Okay, so what's with this fucking bullshit? What, do they just die whenever they feel like it? Like, is it a glitch, or is it like some obscure trick that I don't know about? It's just the first
We're all special.
level of the game. Again, the first fucking level, and I can't go any further. I've had enough of this catastrophe.
The gargoyles now after you!
I'm sick of this shit. I've had enough of this shit. Come on.
No, you're
I really want the Batman classics because I haven't seen them since I was a little kid, and it used to play it all the fucking time to the point I was like, whatever. And now that I'm older, I want to see it with fresh eyes, but it's like, I think you have to spend a lot of money on the DVDs or something. There's like no digital way to just get those things and watch them. I took it for granted. This thing was on like 7 times a fucking day. And, I wish I could now see it with different eyes. Especially, I love like old school sets and stuff like that. He just happened to have a pile of cardboard boxes in his room.
I'm gonna shove these fucking games up your ass. Batman Revenge of the Joker. Batman Return of the Joker. Batman Forever. Batman Return of the Joker on Game Boy. And last but not least, Batman on Commodore 64.
Yeah, so...
Holy bad shit.
compilation of a lot of games. It ends up, I don't think those are the ones that work the best. I mean, it's not like as weak as like the LJN 200. The one that did that really well was Action 52, and there are specific reasons why I think that went well. Because the whole time he's playing every game, and it's like, is one of these gonna be good? And so it just kind of worked tight um, as a theme. Um, and then this one did have mostly fine games, mostly passable games. Like even the bad ones didn't look that bad. Um, but the moments that there was good anger, there was good anger. So I would say like, yeah, this is fine. It's not my favorite. In terms of I like Mike as Bugs Bunny a little bit more. Although I think with this, I think I would have liked to have seen more Mike, just because the games were mostly kind of not that interesting in a lot of cases. But awesome. Well, congrats, Thomas. Um, yeah. I think for me, and I'm kind of a hard grader. I don't put a lot of things in A. It's probably a B minus for me. Um, Mega Man. I did Mega Man games a couple of weeks ago. Um, but yeah. I mean, this could even because I'm looking at my list, and like when I look at some of my C's and C pluses, a lot of them are like, oh, those are good episodes. So like a C for me is literally like that's average. That's pretty good. C can sometimes seem really low, but for me, if I'm in C plus, even C minus, I'm like, okay, that's pretty solid. Just to prep you, Newhouse, like Mega Man's not one of my favorites, so a little bit of disagreement there. Um, but I mean, I appreciate what he did from a post production standpoint, though. Again, I think my problem with that episode is similar to this Batman one, where you just kind of just run through games. It's kind of like, okay, next, next, and even this wasn't quite that bad because there were good moments. Yeah, I think this would have been a really great 10-minute episode. I think he had a great 10-minute episode. I think he had an okay 20-minute episode. Um, but yeah, look, there's I so when someone says if someone says Mega Man is their favorite episode, I get it. If someone hypothetically, pure hypothetical, says that Sonic 06 Part 2 is their second favorite AVGN episode, that one I can't really defend. But like if somebody says Mega Man's my favorite, I get it. I understand that. I wouldn't it wouldn't raise an eyebrow with me. It would just be more like, that wasn't really one of my favorites, and here's why. But there are others where they're kind of like non-starters, like, if you're like Pepsi Man was my favorite. I'm like, all right, well, we can't be friends. We could chat. It's gonna be hard for us to have a friendly. I'm kidding, but yeah, I do think there was. So what I'll say this about Mega Man, it was thought out well. The writing was okay. Like it didn't go off rails like when Board James starts to just go off rails. Like at some point, Board James is like he tries to explain his lore, and you're just like, what? But yeah, that's one I should do next. James explaining the lore. My favorite episode? I'm holding out on that one. I'm holding out. And one I That's why I hopefully I could churn these out quicker, cuz I feel like I made a promise and I got to fulfill it, and at this pace we don't want to be at 20 years later. I'm like 60 years old and I'm telling you my favorite AVGN Sonic 06. But when I watched that Board James explanation for a moment, I thought, am I the only one that doesn't understand, that knows less now that he's explained it? And I'm so glad that others confirmed for me that it's just so convoluted and it's so confusing. um, yeah, for a while he had been saying Rob the Robot. When I think the thing is because he creates, when you create your content, your relationship to the content is different. So he put at the time, I think Rob the Robot was his highest effort one when he had done it. And so I think that his relationship to that episode isn't just how it came out in terms of the humor and that sort of thing, but like I think he combines with it the effort he puts into it, and that's understandable. Um yeah. I mean, I liked the the Mr. Bucket and the Dream Phone episodes. I thought that was really creative how he just sort of snuck in this other thing into something that seemed like something else. Like that was actually a really good twist the first, couple of times you see it. Then it all becomes that, but it's also like it just starts to make no sense. And then he tries to do some tie-in with the nerd and board James that never seemed um but yeah. So that's it. I'm gonna go back to editing. Try to get some more stuff out sooner than later. I got an AVGN nerd ranking coming, and the seventh Netflix. It wasn't the return of board James. It was the return of me. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna do that. I have other videos I'm working on just to kind of break it up again a bit because it's not a Cinemassacre channel. I mean, it kind of is, but it isn't. And I do want to. I'm doing for what it's worth. I'm doing a video on. I want to start doing a little series on games that sort of changed my thoughts on game design. And one of the big ones that I've been working on is Morrowind. So I'm doing the video on that, which I'm not sure really crosses over into this audience too much, other than it's gaming. But I want to do it, and I want to do some others on that subject, like games that sort of really changed my thinking on it. And my God, if you're familiar, it's like a 22-year-old game, and people have like modded this game to the point where it looks freaking amazing. It's sick what I'm playing right now. Like I can't believe it. So I'm actually getting footage myself instead of just like ripping it from YouTube. But yeah, so I'm working on that simultaneously because I already wrote the script for it, and now I'm just like capturing footage and just like late at night like playing the game. But I wanted to get out ahead on some of these episodes and get a lot of the writing done for them. And so we'll see. But I'm gonna try to what I wanted to do strategically is I wanted to get a bunch of these out, and then after that mix it up a little bit so that I'm not like, so I'm serving the people who have joined this channel, and not just like throwing whatever at them, but also like here's a bunch of things. Now here, let's sprinkle in some other things. So I'm gonna try to do that. But yeah. But yeah, thanks for joining me. Like I said, I do this because just to kind of hang on a Saturday and chat about a common interest. And so I appreciate you guys for joining me. And I will catch you all later. And probably awkwardly try to stop the stream while we do it. Yep. All right. Yeah, I think you know what I think the gratitude episode should come. Some of them will be lower fidelity, some of them will be higher. So I should probably do that. And I've been wanting to do one on James Rolfe, to be honest, and but at the same time being like, do I want to flood this with more Cinemassacre related stuff? And the answer might be yes. But yeah. All right. Thanks for asking. Later, guys.